Hi, welcome to this non-sectarian interspiritual forum in which we practice a deep listening called Lectio Divina. I use different titles for this sacred. I'll be using the Beloved, a favorite title of Dorothy Walters, our feature tonight. As we become relaxed and quiet, listening with full attention, we experience our relatedness to the sacred. I call the sacred Agape, the love in which we live and move and have our being. When I use the word love, I'm pointing to a mystery that cannot be solved by our rational minds, but can be directly experienced and is the source of everything. Put another way, this love is really consciousness recognizing itself as being. And then there's a natural self-recognition as love. I'm Nancy Pfaff, a spiritual director who listens with you for the activity of the beloved within. There's more about my background on the introduction to this series. Jerome Waddle, founder and producer of My Dragon Theater Productions, is watching the chat. So say hello. We'd love your feedback, so leave us a comment. I'd love you to subscribe. Just click the bell and you'll be alerted when we go live or post something new. Our focus is on a joyfully radiant woman named Dorothy Walters, who is described as a mystical poet. Her full-bodied spiritual experience inspires her poetry. You'll hear it tonight. I chose Dorothy Walters. She was born in 1928. Because her life manifests the radiant love at the heart of all things. When she was in her early 50s, Dorothy Walters, a Midwestern college professor, had a profound experience that took her 10 years to fully assimilate. She had a mystical experience that spontaneously unfolded right in her own body. She had a Kundalini awakening. Kundalini is divine energy, whose rising can be part of spiritual awakening. It is the energy of the soul itself, the embodied divine feminine. Dorothy, through her poetry, gives us a taste of what she has experienced and can open us to a larger sense of reality of agape love. Dorothy says this about her experience, quote, I was thrown immediately into a state of intense ecstasy, filling my body and emotions. An experience I had no word for at the time. This experience felt like God moving through my body. This process of connecting with divine energy has continued to this day, but in a much more subtle and gentle form. I think of this recurrent present as the beloved within, end quote. The beloved within is our truest self, and getting a glimpse of this is an experience that is life-changing. Perhaps you have discovered this or want to. Dorothy is still active today, and you can find her on Facebook. Her autobiography is called Unmasking the Rose and is a record of her Kundalini initiation. Her Kundalini experience was spontaneous. This can be dangerous because it is an energetic shock to the system unless one is prepared. So a Kundalini yoga practice should be pursued with a qualified guide and is not for everyone. Lectio Divina, as we practice it, means you ponder the reading as you listen. You relate the reading to yourself, you stay present to what arises, and you rest in awareness. There will be 3 readings of the same verse. One will be a pre-recorded reading by Jerome Waddle. As you listen, pay attention to how you react to these readings. Stay alert, yet relaxed. Any reaction you have to reading is initiated by the beloved who is one with you. In the readings, you'll hear the word fixeties. It means things that don't change. With a minute of silence between the readings, you can reflect on what touched you and stay with that. See if it stays the same through all the readings or if something else touches you. When we finish, have a notepad to jot down your reaction and why you think you responded as you did. Then communicate this silently or out loud with the beloved and express gratitude. Now let's settle in. Start with 2 long, deep breaths. I'll do it with you. Let's breathe deeply from the abdomen and fill the lungs. We're entering a place like no other place, a time like no other time. You may close or soften your eyes. Picture or pretend you are sitting in a lovely park. The sky is filled with huge white clouds. You see a bird lift off from a tree. If you were that bird, what would the air be like beneath your wings? See if you can be or pretend to be that bird flying. Now rest and listen to the readings. The first reading, a celebration, and then quiet. Someone who whispers, "Now we are free," which was almost true, but only in the way a bird, leaving a limb, goes freely into a different realm, an atmosphere more pure, more transparent, but that too maintaining its fixities. A minute of silence. The second reading, a celebration. And then quiet. Someone who whispers, "Now we are free." Which was almost true, but only in the way a bird, leaving a limb, goes freely into a different realm, an atmosphere more pure, more transparent. But that too, maintaining its fixities. A minute of silence. The third reading.
Now we are free, which was almost true, but only in the way a bird, leaving a limb, goes freely into a different realm, an atmosphere more pure, more transparent, but that too maintaining its fixities.
A minute of silence. Continue to be present to your experience. As you return to ordinary consciousness, let's take a moment to breathe deeply from the abdomen, filling the lungs, and stretch a good long cat-like stretch. Take a moment to jot down your experience of the reading. I believe you have had a mystical sacred experience at some time in your life, because the beloved is active in all things, especially in you and me. Everyone has sacred experiences, but not everyone values them and goes deeper. Some are afraid they might lose their mind. Others dismiss them as aberrations or of having eaten something that upset their system. Some want just the feel-good experience, but don't go deeper, and that blocks their transforming journey. But those who do treasure the sacred experience begin searching. They seek out spiritual teachers or books, videos, websites, online groups, maybe a religion. They set out on a grand adventure like no other. Some of you have, and some need encouragement to do so. Let me encourage you, do so. In order to affirm your experience and encourage you to go deeper, Jerome Waddle and I are going to share. Jerome will share a painting and original poetry describing his pathway to union with essence in a pre-recorded reading. Then I will share a personal mystical experience.
Hello, everyone. This is Jerome Waddle, and welcome to today's reading of the Poem and Painting series. Today's reading will be the first of my original Poems and Painting series, where rather than do a painting inspired by other poets, I'm at the point where I wanted to try to do both for myself. The poem and painting is called Finding Essence, and it is a reflection of my own experience as I explore becoming my true, authentic self. The poem. Finding Essence. When we strip ourselves of our beliefs and preconceptions down to the naked core of our existence, there exists the seed or spark of essence awaiting you. It is located in the darkest, blackest sea. It requires reaching in and pulling it to the surface. And in that moment, in the blink of an eye, you will see the universe shimmering with love as never before. And you will see that same spark in others, awaiting to be activated. And you will understand the meaning of universal love. Thanks for watching, and feel free.
Let's pause to reflect a few minutes. Now I'd like to share a personal spiritual experience that opened my understanding of the beloved. On November 11, 2019, I was introduced to Cynthia Bouchot, who teaches centering prayer, a method of prayer that moves you toward union with the beloved. You can find more on centering prayer in our videos on Thomas Keating and Cynthia Bourgeot. Seeking to be one with the beloved, I had begun to experience moments of a deep communion in a spacious place within. Yet there still seemed to be a separation. To understand what happened next, pretend you're a stagehand standing on a stage behind the curtain. The auditorium is filled with people. You are alone on the stage. The lights go down, and then an utter silence. In the darkness, you can sense a presence. Now amplify that 100 times, and you may taste my experience. Here's what happened to me. On a March morning in 2020, I began my day with some pranayama breathing, a yoga practice. One of my favorite exercises is the sun salutation. I repeated the sun salutation a couple of times, and on the third time I lifted my hands above my head, brought them down together, holding in my mind a desire to be filled with the beloved. I experienced myself both present in the room and at the same time, on another level, I was aware of being present in a dark, vital, and fully alive place, like being in the dark depths of the ocean in a bubble. I was utterly still. My attention finally focused as this revelation unfolded. I had a sense of essence and that I was being taught about the reality of life. I knew in a flash, almost like a voice was speaking, to look up to the surface of the ocean. I saw a little leaf floating there, and I understood the insignificance of the ego, the rational mind. All else was this radiant darkness from which everything arises. I had a deep awareness of truth, of my human self, interpenetrated by this deeply peaceful, eternal stillness that is alive with a silent intensity. This experience lasted about a minute, but changed my life. There came grace with the experience to live more in the beloved, with the power of the ego-rational mind diminished. Old traumas, false beliefs, unhealthy patterns, fear and anxiety lost their grip on me in that moment. This was ultimately an experience of a deep, deep peace, of the beloved intimately one with me. In our video, Giving Myself in Love, James Finley says, I am not the beloved, but I'm not other than the beloved either. I can be present to this experience even at this moment. It's a new state of being, more unified, the true self blooming. Perhaps you can sense the radiance of it even now. It is resonating within you because you are this. Let's take a moment to let this sink in. This freedom of soul is what all our desiring is really seeking, to find that fulfillment of unity with the beloved, out of which all things emerge. So keep coming back for more Lectio Divina, where you can deepen your own experience of the beloved and thereby a deeper awareness of who you really are. Now, before we go, I'd love for you to leave us a comment. Tell us what you learned or liked. For Jerome Waddle's readings, just type Jerome Waddle in the YouTube search bar. If you'd like to contact me as a spiritual director or learn more about centering prayer, or to share your experience with this reading, email me at saferequestreno@gmail.com. I'd love to know what caught your interest. Before you go, I'd love you to click like if you do, and share this with your friends. Thank you for joining me. May the love that passes all understanding keep you in peace.